Bacteria are unicellular prokaryotic microorganisms that can survive in nearly any climate on Earth. Small rodents such as rats, mice, squirrels carry the Black Plague. Fleas that live on these animals act as vectors and carry the infection from rodents to humans. People may get exposed to bacteria from flea bites or from direct contact with an infected animal. During the Black Death, many people became sick with pneumonia from Yersinia pestis, called pneumonic plague, and spread the disease bacteria to each other by coughing and sneezing. A vector is a DNA molecule used to transfer genetic material into another cell. The four major types of vectors are plasmids, bacteriophages, and other viruses, cosmids, and artificial chromosomes. A host is an organism supporting another organism on or in itself. Symptoms of the Black Plague include fever, buboes, headaches, abdominal pain, chills, diarrhea, nausea, decreased appetite, broken blood vessels, and vomiting.
In Europe, 1348, the countries that were most affected by the plague were the ones next to the coast. Countries like Italy, Macedonia, and Spain, which were also the few of the first countries that were affected. The plague caught the people by surprise because they have never seen anything like this before. Europe didn't have things like soap to help stop the spread of the disease. The only people who had baths were extremely rich people. Travel played a big role in the spread of the plague. Traders with boats to cross the sea would have different types of food to trade. These ships would have rats on board because they caught the smell of the food. The rats had fleas which carried the plague, and once the boat had docked, infected rats would get off the boat and the fleas would hop onto people, which caused death of millions of people. Doctors tried to treat the plague with all different kinds of treatments. They tried bloodletting, which is where they cut a vein and hoped that the disease would drain out in the blood. This did more harm than help. Doctors also tried wearing a bird suit, which they thought protected all outside germs and diseases. All treatments that doctors tried either made it worse or did nothing. In the end, 1/3 of Europe died.
In the last 25 years, the bubonic plague occurred in two regions of the United States. The first region took place in northern New Mexico, northern Arizona, and southern Colorado. The second region took place was California, southern Oregon, and far western Nevada. An average of 10 to 15 people get infected from farm-like areas. Domestic animals like dogs and cats can help the spread of the bubonic plague because of the fur. Those animals might have fleas, which can carry the infectious bacteria. Not only domestic animals can carry bacteria, but some rodents carry them too, like ground squirrels, prairie dogs, chipmunks, wood rats, wild mice, and voles. The fleas might jump on you and pass the bacteria around. They pass the bacteria by sucking on our blood. Some of the best ways to avoid the plague is by keeping the environment clean from fleas. Also, if you have a dog or animal, you should get flea control regularly. Nowadays, doctors use special antibiotics to treat plague with gentamicin and streptomycin. However, if the infectious person doesn't get treatment very quickly, he might die in a matter of days.
Amongst Europe and America, other countries have also felt the wrath of the Black Death ravaging its citizens. Scientists speculate that the plague may have started in populations of ground rodents in Central Asia and the Gobi Desert. However, of this account, it has been theorized that Mongolian armies and merchant caravans traveling along the Silk Road may have brought the plague to the Middle East and Europe. In China, people took precautions against the plague and helped to reduce its spread by keeping on the lookout for certain rodents. Hunters avoided such rodents, and when there were large groups of dead rodents found in any area, they left immediately. More recently, 3 cases of the pneumonic plague were reported in China, and as a precaution, the area has been quarantined to prevent any further spreading. For treatment of the disease, antibiotics must be given to the patient within 24 hours of the first symptoms to reduce the risk of death. In the Middle East, multiple countries were stricken with the Black Death, and many cities such as Mecca, Cairo, Constantinople, and Alexandria felt the effects of the plague. With military invasions and a growth in international trade, the plague was given many opportunities to spread over the world.